It was fun while it lasted, but now it's officially over. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the good times have to come to an end. And unfortunately, Jim Cramer has just said that there will not be a recession, so we're screwed. Basically, if you thought your investments were doing fine, get ready for them to go to absolute zero, because everything this guy says is usually the exact opposite of what happens. But all those jokes aside, even though it's not really that much of a joke, we've got yet another Bitcoin bill. Well, just actually take a listen at this, because again, from a government level, things are moving really, really nicely.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money. What a wonderful blessing for hardworking people all over the world to have this great new technology and to have America lead the way in implementing this wonderful, wonderful innovation.
Now, one of the most interesting points actually becomes, or a good question that comes up is, how much do you really want the government to own a lot of coins, or most of the coins? I mean, as at this point, it's still quite cheap for them to acquire a large amount of them, just like how Michael Saylor is buying the freaking dip of the dip of the dip, buying every single coin he can get his hands on. And I personally am a believer in cryptocurrencies. I personally think these things will rise significantly over the next few months or years, and there's about 0% worth of doubt. And what that also causes, what that also, does, it basically allows me to buy these things all the time, whenever, regardless of the price, knowing I will make a very good return on it. Again, it does not really matter. It's just either I get slightly more or slightly less of a return, but I can buy Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, SUI even, every day of the week. It doesn't matter, because I know I'll make a profit. Just either a bit more or a bit less. It gives a lot of peace of mind, really. The only thing I'm questioning is, well, how much more time will I have to buy cheap? Because eventually it'll be a PvP fest where all these major governments are just in, they want more, and all of a sudden things go exponential. But really, how quickly do we want them to start buying? Because apparently, she just said Trump supports her idea to buy 1 million Bitcoin. If they're going to do that, it's an interesting situation, right? Because again, it's you versus the government in buying these coins. Now, quickly talking about two coins, Bitcoin here has actually hit our target about 2 days ago here. As you can see, Bitcoin has fulfilled the prophecy, so to speak, so our trade there is done. With regards to XRP, as it currently stands, we're actually finding support again at the moving average. And we've not broken below there in, actually ever since we broke out above it. So yes, there's been a few times where we did, let's just call it, fell below, or I should say fall below, but we've yet to close below it and are currently still continuing this short but beautiful uptrend ever since basically the start of April. And the bots, of course, are also still running. Theoretically speaking, anybody who joined at the start is still in a significant amount of profit, but we're just 2 weeks in. It's going to take a little bit of time for people to really start realizing it. I think a lot of people are still focusing in on the drawdown and the fact that right now it might look like it's a loss, but generally speaking, we care about the grid profit. We care about the profit over time, not the day-to-day. And again, the lower that it goes, the more it is able to buy, the more profit you'll have in the end. Again, we want the price to be like this, very, very volatile, because that's how we'll make the most. And here you might notice SUI is most volatile, and even though we've only had this one open for 9 days versus XRPs for almost 13 days, you can see that the amount of trades here has actually been highest on SUI, just because the price is going, shifting the most. And even the unrealized profit might not be that high right now. It's got significantly more grid profit, so basically locked in profits already over this period, just because the price has been moving a lot more. By the way, to support my earlier theory of, well, everybody basically is going to start buying, Here we also have Michael Saylor just again now today saying, they're buying more Bitcoin, too much blue, not enough orange, and they've been buying a lot at this top, but I'm guessing, basically putting him to my own head here, that most likely he's doing it here because that's ever since when the government confirmed they're bullish on getting these things done, on getting more reserves in being more involved and wanting to make the U.S. the capital of it all, in legalizing basically meme coins, Trump launching his own meme coin, all of that. And from that point of forward, crypto was basically eternalized. There was a, in my opinion, 0% chance of it failing. And that's why, not financial advice, but I even tell, no, I shouldn't say that. Let me say it differently. If it were up to me, I'd even sell anything I have. If I was really trying to make the biggest ROI, right? So anything I have, either get involved with the bots I share every single day, and again, not financial advice, or just buy the freaking dip, maybe even with 2-3x leverage if you want to be ultra safe, and just really buy, because it's all a matter of time, but it's going to go up, at least in my opinion it is. It just makes too much sense for it not to. Having said that, though, even Warren Buffett himself said that just holding your US dollars, if that's the alternative, ain't the best of ideas. If you want to say, Dusty, I don't think it's wise to be 100% in crypto, I want to diversify to other things. Yeah, that makes sense. If you want some gold, you want some stocks, you want some, I guess indices really as a concept, you want some different currencies, that does make sense just to put you in a safer position. But if you're in the accumulation phase where all you care about is just making a ton of freaking money, me personally, I'd skip all that, because even though you're playing it safe, why would you want to? When again, risk reward wise, it just makes too much sense for this whole area to do well. And the US dollar, even though it's been quite stable over time, when you really start, breaking it down, it ain't that safe. And so when you think about it like that, if it's not a guarantee to do well, if it's not a guarantee, basically, right? Why hold something that's definitely going to just drag you down? At least take a little bit extra risk and go for something that can also 10x, so to speak. Billionaire Warren Buffett says trade deals or these trade and tariffs should not be used as a weapon. It's basically what he's been saying. He says trade here, but for the most part, it's talking about the tariffs. From recently. Institutional investors have rarely been this bearish on the Magnificent Seven. Hedge funds' long-short ratios on the Magnificent Seven stocks fell to about 2.5x, the lowest on record. By comparison, at the end of 2022 bear market, this ratio was about 3 times. Additionally, hedge funds' net exposure to Magnificent Seven has fallen about 8 percentage points over the past 12 months to about 13%, near the lowest in 2 years. Despite the recent rally, these stocks are still down 18% since the December peak. Institutional capital is not buying this rally yet. And to quickly add to that, hedge funds' bearish bets on U.S. stocks have skyrocketed. Short positions on U.S. equities have jumped to the highest level since the 2022 bear market, according to Unlimited. Unlimited tracks near real-time data from 3,000 global hedge funds that manage $5 trillion in assets. Since 2000, there have been only a few other times where hedge funds held such high short exposure, meaning they think the price is going to go down, including 2020 and 2008. Institutional investors have been the most bearish on small and mid-cap stocks. Additionally, though, equity long-short fund managers have been underweight U.S. stocks and have recently added long positions on Europe and Japan. Are professional investors too bearish? Well, again, if we start adding these things up, of Warren Buffett say, hey, get out of the dollar, Magnificent Seven, not doing too amazing, but also, I guess, all sides of the U.S. stock market not being in the best of positions. And actually, matter of fact, Warren Buffett retiring soon, perhaps because he knows the recession is coming, and his fund is right now at what? A 400x or something like that, just something crazy. He might want to get out before that. But then on the opposite side, the S&P has actually closed higher for 9 days in a row for the first time since 2004. So even though we just said all these bad words, when you look at the market, things are just moving green and green and green just day in, day out. And by the way, if you've not done it yet, make sure you go ahead and press the like button on this video. Just right there, just click the like button. And if you want to also join the bots that I'm trading with every single day, the link is down below. You can use this link right here to trade on Payonics, the exchange I'm using. This link right here to just claim yourself some bonuses, and all this stuff in the middle just to copy along with some of my bots, or all of them. You can just click, and it's very easy. Just press copy the bot. It's that simple. You can copy along and just keep looking back over the next few weeks or months. You'll see how crazy it is. They're so beautiful. Anyway, take a look. Bitcoin April closed about $94,181. V-shaped recovery after all. Well, actually, I've been looking at the Bitcoin price week over week, And here actually we have got a day over day. What you really start noticing though is that slowly but surely we're climbing out from this pit that we were in. And so really when you look back at the monthly chart and just how things are moving, nothing's changed really, right? All the negativity we've seen throughout the last couple of weeks, where is all that when you zoom out? And really, when you zoom out, all that looked bad was basically really bear market territory in 2022. The rest here, it just looks like we're slowly but surely climbing up, getting ready for that massive wave upwards, for the crazier part of the run still. And I still stand by that the real altcoin season has not even happened yet. Now again, I could be wrong, but generally speaking, I think for most of these coins, they'll be volatile in the midst. There's going to be a lot of crazy moves still to happen. Here's a little update on the major trades, by the way. You might think, oh, actually, this trade is at a 50K loss, and this one is at a 6K loss. Oh, that's bad, bad, bad. Again, patience, my friends. This has been in, I think, maybe 50K worth of profit a little bit ago. It's been at 100K of a loss. It's all fine. All we got to have is a bit of patience. I am 99.9% convinced this is going to turn into a massive amount of profit soon. I could have actually bought the dip significantly at, for example, $1.60 and already flipped it for profit, but I thought the position size at about $300,000 was already okay to just keep open here and just wait for it. And I'll still stand by that. Even though all these things right here, you might see a short-term loss. It's all fine, all right? Just keep watching the channel. Just check back every week or so if you're not convinced, because I'm putting it right here, right now, that soon enough, every single one of these will be in such significant profits, you'll eat your words back up. Again, I'm not making any guarantees, but I personally am 99.9% convinced it will. There's basically zero doubt in my mind. Otherwise, I wouldn't say this so confidently. That's why I keep telling people, hey, just follow along, because this is what I'm going to do and it's going to work. You guys might know me for a while now. I don't really take those words too lightly. It just works as long as you're not stupid and don't get wrecked. But the way I've done it and I've set it up and talked about it in these quote-unquote tutorials here, it's almost impossible to mess up. As of this point, it's just been too freaking good, man. But regardless, again, we want the volatility, for example, in SUI. We got in at about 366, and the funny thing is, right, even though we went from 366, we went down roughly 13%. Theoretically speaking, actually a bit more even now that I'm looking at it. Let's take the top. The top was here. Lowest point, about 19% down. There we go. And we're doing 3x leverage. We should basically have been down 60% from top. Well, we got in a bit lower, so let's say 66% to right here, roughly. Let's just say 10% down. This should have been minus, let's say 33%. But because of the way in which it's buying as things go down lower, you can see our loss has actually been minimized in that sense. More importantly, if we get another massive break towards the downside, it will keep buying, which means the moment it goes back up, we'll make a ton more profit. Similarly for XRP, similarly for all these coins. We want the price to move down hard and then right back up hard. Or just up, but that means we've got less profit, right? We prefer basically for what it's been doing now with bigger swings, because the problem is it's just not moving enough, right? It's basically been doing nothing all these months. Highest it went to is $2.30. Lowest it went to is like $2.10 here in the last few weeks. It seems like this is what I was going to say. Yeah, we want more swings. This, for example, would have been perfect. This would have been so nice. This would have been a ton of profit. We're a bit too late, though. We started a little bit later. But right now, we're basically hoping for that to happen again, because the amount of profit we make on such a dip is so huge. And that just changes your whole perspective about investing. Instead of just holding, this just adds another nice boost to it, where, again, it just automates the job. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it too much. This is enough for right now. All I got to say is things are looking good. I still feel as if the craziest part of the market hasn't been here yet. I still stand by that religiously. And you know what? I'll update you guys with another crypto video tomorrow. That's it for right now. But yeah, watch, I guess, for the weekly close. There ain't that important of a level to watch for. If to name something, I'd say 95,000. But I have a good feel. You know what? Actually, as at this point, I'll state that, yeah, this is the most interesting point. Because I could actually put it slightly lower, but I'm going to say everything above 94, 95,000 is very interesting for a Bitcoin here, because it just basically confirms our premonitions or our assumptions of earlier that this is the turnaround where altcoins are starting to go crazy, etc., etc. Now we had a bit of a pullback, but right now as it stands, Bitcoin is actually making another break for it at 95.7. Ooh, and it seems even 95.9 on some exchanges. Ooh, we're looking really good. And the moment that Bitcoin sets that point, altcoins can really start going again. So maybe, just maybe, as we get ourselves this confirmation, it's yet another altcoin run, just on the short term, that we're going to see. Or maybe this is just where, again, back in 2021, let's quickly go scroll back to it, we had ourselves this downturn for a few months, right? Before getting a new all-time high. It's basically another replica of that, where we saw a almost all-time high right there at 109,000, let's just say, or I guess a all-time high at that point, have broken back down for a few months and right now are slowly but surely creeping away up to this, for example, $150,000 range, or maybe even more. But things are looking good right now, man. And if I was you, which I'm not, but this is me, I think it's, again, a good time to just add to the positions, just to have them. And what I'm also going to do maybe a bit more is change more spot to just leverage positions, 2x, 3x, just because things are in a really, really good spot right now. At least that is my position on this. But yeah, that's about it for right now.